Claire with another Sabbath Day class with the School of Knowledge. We're glad you decided to join us today and to share your Sabbath with us as we research and study and go through different topics. We want to say that we have a YouTube presence, and the name of our YouTube channel is Yehudah Project. We have all types of different topics that you can study on your own that we have had classes with. You're welcome to do that. We also have a website and information that we will give at the end of the class. We have phone numbers at the bottom of the screen for the YouTube page for you to give us a call if you'd like to talk about different things and just to open ourselves up just in case you have questions. We ask, that please be considerate of the time, because we do work and some people call at 12 midnight and different things like that during the week, and that's really rough for us. So if you could just be diligent or considerate of the time, I would appreciate that. Give us a chance to kind of get some things together. Okay, so this is the third rebellion. Like I said, the first rebellion was the rebellion of Adam and Eve. We went over that. The second rebellion was the 200 angels that landed on Mount Hermon. We went over that. I want to show you that. I actually downloaded Google Earth so that I could pull up a picture of Mount Hermon so you could see it. I would like to ask you if you have any noise. I don't care what kind of noise it is, put your phone on mute. If you cannot put your phone on mute, let me know, and we will mute it until you can use the chat to ask questions. Turning of pages, we can hear that. We can hear telephone ringing in the background. We can hear all kinds of noise going on in the background. If you could just please mute your phone, that would be very happy. That would make us very happy. I'm hearing something right now. I don't know what it is, but please mute the phone so we don't have to stop the lesson and go back and mute your phone. And I don't want to mute everybody because I enjoy having the open forum. Okay. All right, so this is the third rebellion. Here we go. What is it? All right, Wikipedia, the Tower of Babel, as told in Genesis chapter 11, 1 through 9, is the origin myth meant to explain why the world's people speak different languages. I'll continue. According to the story, a united humanity in the generations following the Great Flood, speaking a single language and migrating eastward, comes to the land of Shinar. Can somebody tell me what happens in the land of Shinar? What's going on at the Tower of Babel?
They built a tower there in the land of Shinar to reach the heavens.
Right, they were.
I think they were some tablets or something before that was there before the flood, and those instructions was on there how to go about doing it.
Right, absolutely. So we're talking about the sons of Noah. We're talking about the sons of Noah after the flood, after they landed on dry land, and after they were in the land of Ararat. They all decided to go into certain areas of the land, and there's a group that went into a certain portion of the land, and they began to start to build a tower. Now, most people think that this is a myth, like you just read about Wikipedia. It says it's a myth. They don't believe that this was real. And most of the time, the world don't believe these stories are real. They believe that they're just somebody wrote them in a book and it just happened to happen. But we do. So this is where the third rebellion took place. Who do you think were the rebellious ones in this area?
Giants.
He said it's the giants. Somebody else? Come on.
They were the other nations.
The other nations were rebellious. Okay, that's true. Wow, that's true. Somebody else? Let's see. Let's go see. All right, this is a picture of the Tower of Babel from somebody else's depiction. And this is what they put in there, what they thought it looked like. And it was a diligent project. They continued to do it day and night, night and day. I just wanted to put some pictures with it. Here's some more pictures of what somebody else thinks that it looks like it was a ziggurat. And I would lean more towards this one than the first one because they still have these images or buildings over in Iraq today. And all of this happened in Iraq. The land of Shinar is in Iraq. And this one, where they have the fire coming down. All right, here we go. It says biblical history. The descendants of Noah were living in an area of Mesopotamia in Babylon. They settled in the land of Shinar. The population was growing, and they all spoke one language. The people decided to build a tall, proud symbol of how great they had made their nation. The Babylonians wanted a tower that would reach to the heavens so that they could fight against Yah and that they would not need him. They began to construct a great ziggurat. And that's what we showed you before, the picture of the ziggurat. Okay, and now this all takes place in Genesis chapter 11. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. It says, the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And said one to another, go to, let us make brick, and burn it thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Most High said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. Question? Any question? And wait a minute, hold on. And from thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. All right, any question?
I got a question.
Tonight? Yes, sir.
When it says, let us go down, who is he talking to?
Oh, you stole my thunder. That's what I was going to ask you.
That's the seven angels.
Who?
What the seven angels that he created in the very beginning? The same ones that's in Zechariah chapter 4 and 10.
You say 7, okay. Well, yes, sir.
Well,
go ahead.
The seven angels is a number of completion, but that's what the 7 means. But when he says let us go down, he's talking to the Trinity. God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let us go down. He's one God, we know, but the Trinity.
Okay, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Somebody, anybody else?
Yeah, I want to know, where's that written at?
We just taking ideas right now, Brother Doniel. We just asking questions because I'm gonna answer the question for you. Anybody else?
Yeah, he took 70 gods down with him.
That's correct.
Eventually appointed over each nation.
That's correct.
Oh, so you say he took 70 gods with him? Okay, that's all right. All right.
70 gods?
Hold on. Yes, sir. That's what they said. 70 gods. 70 gods. Anybody else? Okay. And Sister Sanaya, what about the chat? Anybody have something in the chat?
Yeah. There's a question. Ask, is this when the whole earth was separated, like the countries?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So this is when the whole earth, at one point, everybody spoke the same language. Everybody understood each other because they all spoke the same language. So when they decided to build the Tower of Babel, and they decided to make it reach into the heavens, they decided to go against the Most High And he came down and said, let us confound their languages so that they will not understand one another. And I'm going to go into some other information so that you'll have that knowledge. And they did that, and that's when all of the nations were separated. Now, how many nations were there separated?
70.
70 nations. How many languages did each one of them have? 70.
One for each, 70.
One for each nation. They each had, it was a total of 70 languages and 70 nations.
Yes.
Now, how many gods did each nation have?
One.
So there were 70 gods that were appointed to each one of them had their own nation.
Yeah.
And this is the information that most people don't understand because they have not read this in the Scriptures and they don't understand who the Most High was talking to.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it 69 gods, including Yah? Because one of the 7 nations were the Israelites.
No, we weren't there. Israelites weren't there.
Okay.
Shem was not there.
Yeah, this was Nimrod's stuff. His rulership. You understand? And Israel wasn't under his rulership.
That's right. Shem was not there anywhere. So he didn't get a chance here. After that, he went and chose them, our people as his chosen people, and we were the lot of his inheritance.
Absolutely.
You know, so, and a lot of the Christian people believe that it was God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. No, that is not true. I'm going to share it with you and show it to you today. Because most people don't realize that God has a council. And these people came with him. These gods came with him when he did what he did. All right, let's get into some historical information. It says the Jewish Roman historian Flavius Josephus, in his Antiquities of the Jews, recounted history as found in the Hebrew Bible and mentions the Tower of Babel. He wrote that it was Nimrod who had the tower built and that Nimrod was a tyrant who tried to turn the people away from Yah. All right, so we're going into national gods. I want to be able to put this out here so that everybody understands, because this is not a history. This is not something that's hidden. And most of the people of their nations know they have their own deity. But we don't, because Christianity has tried to group it together where everybody is serving the same God, and that's not true. And we have to make sure that we make this understood. It says national gods are a class of guardian divinities or deities whose special concern is the safety and well-being of an ethnic group, a nation, and of the group's leader. So they know they have other gods. This is contrasted with other guardian figures such as family gods responsible for well-being of family clans or professions, or personal gods who are responsible for the well-being of individuals. These guardians' roles augment the functions that a divinity might otherwise have: wisdom, health, war, and so on. Any questions to that? Because a lot of people don't realize when you go into Asia, they have their own God. When you go to China, they worship their own God. German people have their own gods. And we have names for them all that I'm going to share with you today so that you'll have that information. But this is not foreign to the people. It's just something that we're not taught. And a lot of people get upset because they're like, I ain't never heard that before. Just because you haven't heard of it before doesn't mean it's not true. Any questions? Anybody in the chat, Sister Sanaya? So they know that they have national gods and that these gods are associated with their own nation.
Not yet.
Okay, let's go. Now we're going to prove it scripturally. Here, let's go to the scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 7. We're going to do 7 and 8. He said, remember the days of old and consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elder, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, and he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Most High's portion is his people, and Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Okay, now what they're saying is that when he set the bounds of the people, this was at the Tower of Babel. And he set it according to the number of the children of Israel. Now, at that particular time, when we walked into Egypt, how many people was it that walked into Egypt?
70.
It was 70. And you know what? And some of the Bible said that he set the bounds according to the number of the sons of God. So different Bibles say different things, but the number of the children of Israel that walked into Egypt was 70 people. Now, let's see what else the scriptures say. Let's go prove it. So, and after that, he chose Israel for his portion. So he separated all the nations, these 70 people into 70 different nations. Each one of them had their own language, and each one of them had their own God. And then after that, he turned around and he chose Israel for his people. We are the lot of his inheritance. Watch what happens. Joshua chapter 9. Watch what Joshua chapter 9 says. Chapter 9, verse 32. It says, and Yah said to the 70 angels who stood foremost before him, to those who were near him, saying, come, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor, and they did so unto them. And from that day following, they forgot each man his neighbor's tongue, and they could not understand to speak in one tongue. And when the builder took from the hands of his neighbor lime or stone, which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it upon his neighbor, that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. So the Most High, when he came down, and I didn't go into the whole story because you guys know that they ended up getting punished by the Most High. But when they stood, the 70 angels that stood before the Most High, those were the ones that went down with him. So when he said, let us go down to see what they're doing, he was talking to the angels. Is the brother still on the line? Is he still here? I guess not. Any questions? Let me take that back again. This is in Joshua. We're going to go back in chapter 9. And Joshua is in the book of the Apocrypha, which was a part of the King James Bible in 1611. And you can buy the book of Joshua and begin to read this. This is in chapter 9, verse 32. And when you can continue to read in that chapter, it goes on to say, what each one of them's punishment was, how he turned some of them into monkeys, and some of them he killed, and some of them he dispersed. But it was 70 nations when it was all over, because there were 70 angels who stood foremost before the Most High when they went down to see what the children of the world were doing. Tonight, any questions in the chat?
Not yet. Everyone's listening.
All right, here we go. I want to make sure we get that, so keep that in mind. You can read that at your leisure. Jubilees chapter 10. Here's another version of the story. Jubilees chapter 10. The Book of Jubilees is also a part of the Apocrypha, and this was also a part of the Bible in 1611, and they were taken out. So if you want to get these books, you're more than welcome to do that. We're going to start at verse 18. It says, in the 3 and 30th Jubilee, in the first year, in the second week, Peleg took to himself a wife whose name was Lona, the daughter of Sinara. Okay. And she bare him a son in the 4th year of this week, and he called his name Reuel, for he said, he become evil through the wicked purpose of building for themselves a city and a tower in the land of Shinar. Verse 19, for they departed from the land of Ararat eastward to Shinar. For in his days they built the city and the tower, saying, Go to, let us ascend thereby into heaven. So their whole goal in building this tower was to go into heaven. What were they going to go into heaven to do?
Kill Yah.
They wanted to kill the Most High. They wanted to fight against him. Watch. And they began to build, and in the 4th week they made brick with fire, and the brick served them for stone. And the clay with which they cemented them together was asphalt, which comes out of the sea and out of the fountain of water in the land of Shinar. Verse 21. And they built it 43 years were they building it. Its breadth was 203 bricks, and the height of a brick was the third of one. Its height amounted to 5,433 cubits and 2 palms, and the extent of the wall was 13 staves, and of the others 30 staves. And the Most High, our Elohim, said unto us, Behold, they are one people, and this they began to do, and now nothing will be withholden from them. Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech, and they may be dispersed into cities and nations, and one purpose will no longer abide with them to the day of judgment. And the Most High descended, and we descended with him to see the city, and the tower which the children of men had built. And he confounded their language, and they no longer understood one another's speech, and they ceased then to build the city and the tower. For this reason, the whole land of Shinar is called Babel, because the Lord did there confound all the languages of the children of men. And from thence they were dispersed into cities according to his language and his nation. And the Lord sent a mighty wind against the tower and overthrew it upon the earth, and behold, it was between Ashur and Babylon in the land of Shinar, and they called its name Overthrow. In the 4th week, in the 1st year, in the beginning thereof, in the 34 of Jubilee, were they dispersed from the land of Shinar. And Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, that it was very good. And he went not into the land of his inheritance to the west, that is, to the sea, and he dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward, from the border of Jordan and from the border of the sea. And Ham, his father, and Cush, and Mizraim, his brother, said unto him, Thou hast settled in a land which is not thine, and which did not fall to us by lot. Do not do so. For if thou doest do so, thou and thy sons will fall in the land and be cursed through the sedition. For by sedition you have settled, and by sedition will thy children fall, and thou shalt be rooted out forever. Dwell not in the dwelling of Shem, for to Shem and to his sons did it come by their lot. Cursed art thou, and cursed shalt thou be beyond all the sons of Noah by the curse by which we bound ourselves in oath in the presence of the holy judge and in the presence of Noah our father. But he did not hearken unto them, and dwelt in the land of Lebanon, from Hamath to the entering of Egypt, he and his sons unto this day. And for this reason the land is called Canaan. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we sure that this happened after the flood, after the land was split? Are we sure about that?
Yes. According to the book, that's what the book says, that this happened after the flood. Because remember, the flood was to kill the giants off, and they had came to the land in Turkey, which is supposed to be in the land in Turkey, today modern-day Turkey, which was Ararat, And that's where the boat is supposed to have landed. And from there, they ventured off, and they cast lots for the land. And Canaan actually moved into some land mass that really wasn't his, according to this.
Well, the reason why I asked that is that at some point, Ham was supposed to be the progenitor of the African nations, and I'm wondering, at that particular time, was Ham, was the African nations established at that particular time?
Well, the African nations were established through his sons, and it talks about up here where he talks about Ham's sons. Let me find it again. Where he calls them Cush and Mizraim, here it is, and Ham, his father, and Cush and Mizraim, his brother, said unto him. So those are the people that actually established the African nations, was those men there.
Right. So you look at that in Genesis chapter 10. If you look at 12 all the way to 20, it's giants there. So an incursion already happened. Right there, it's giants. Mizraim is a giant. That's a giant. So I want to add something about the fact that if you notice in 21, he's talking about Shem's descendants, right? Well, Eva had 2 boys, and so if you pick up at verse 25, and unto Eva were born 2 sons, and the name of one was Peleg, and in his days, right here, it tells you what happened. In these days, the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begot. It lists all the names. So they 2 separate ones. So if you look at that, Abraham and Lot later on ended up in the same place. We know that Lot ended up in the Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, right here, Joktan ended up at the Tower of Babel. Peleg kept going on. So if you get to verse 32, these are the families of the sons of Noah after their generation in their nation, and by these were the nations divided in the earth. Back then, it wasn't no chapter. So you keep reading. And the whole earth was one language and one speech, and it came to pass. They, who is they? Joktan. And they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. That's Joktan. Just like Lot ended up in the Sodom and Gomorrah, Joktan ended up over there. And so when you get to 11 and verse 10, the other boy, he lists his lineage, which is what Noah came out of. Which is what Abraham came out of.
Abraham, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You have to understand that if you want to get to the bottom of what's going on, you have to understand that.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, Brother Donia, they were actually, and because the land mass was not sliced up the way it is now, they just basically created the African people because Those were the African people themselves. And when they started having children, that's how the African nations came about.
Yeah, that's correct. You understand? So what? The point that I'm trying to get to, and I'm still trying to get clarification. And each time somebody says something that helps me out, so during the time of Mitzrayim, Canaan, and Putin and Ethiopia, was the land split then?
No, it wasn't split at that time because they just cast lots to go in different directions. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't split at that time. They just had cast lots to go in different. One was supposed to go to the west, one was supposed to go to the south, and one was supposed to go to the east and to the north. And Canaan didn't go in his direction. He went into the land that was not given unto him, according to the Book of Jubilees.
Right.
And that's what they were saying. We all took an oath that we were going to be obedient to wherever we were supposed to go. And if you do this, you're going to be cursed.
Well, you had read when you was reading out of Jubilees, I think it was that it says that it was a judge there, and the other boys that told him in the presence of the judge. You agreed to the land that he gave you.
Yeah,
right.
Here it is right here. Here it is right here. It says, let's see what it says. It says, cursed art thou, and cursed shalt thou be beyond all the sons of Noah by the curse by which we bound ourselves by an oath in the presence of the holy judge and in the presence of Noah our father.
Right. So it was angels there.
Yeah, it was somebody there that they considered to be holy for real. They said they was going to keep that word. So, and then for this reason, and now you understand why the Most High put him out on top of the things that they was doing. He was never supposed to be there anyway.
Well,
all that land that he took was... Go ahead.
When you divide that, well, when they got there, didn't he drive out 7 nations? That's what he said. That was the prophecy being fulfilled.
Sure was. He sure was, because he drove all them out. All of his descendants, all them giants was driven out of there because they weren't supposed to be there anyway, and he gave it back to the rightful people because he gave it to Shem's descendants, which was Abraham.
Right.
And from Abraham to Isaac, and from Isaac to Jacob, and to Jacob to us. To us, we were supposed to get that land. It's supposed to be passed down. Makes a lot of sense now, don't it?
Right.
Anybody have any questions?
I'm pulling it over.
I have a question.
Yep.
Why were the giants driven out?
Because they, for one, they weren't supposed to be there. But for two, because of the lifestyle that they was living, the things that they were doing. They were behaving, and their sexual behavior was deviant. They were having relations with their family members. I think it's all pointed out in Leviticus chapter 18. All the things that they were doing, and the Most High said, I drove them out of this land for these reasons, and don't do what they do. Homosexuality and all kind of stuff.
Can I speak? Can I elaborate on that?
Yes, sir.
Once again, when the Watchers came down, they get the giants was the siblings of them, right?
Right.
They were not God's creation. Their blood was tainted. Satan's plan was to taint the bloodline because he knew the seed would crush his head. So therefore, he wanted to corrupt the human race to keep the seed, which would be Christ, from crushing his head.
Okay.
So the reason that the giants had to be destroyed because they were not God's creation. They even turned on the humans and started eating humans.
They did.
That's why God said, when you get to that land, kill them all. A lot of people was like, oh, gosh, that's cruel. No, God was like, kill them all, the kids, the cattle, and everything, because they are not of me. They're not my creation, and they'll corrupt you, and they'll turn you from me.
That's true.
This is the reason why they had to kill them giants.
Right. You also have to understand that he got Jacob ain't came yet, and that when he gave that land to Shem way back then, him going beginning from the end, his Jacob, the nation of Israel was going to occupy that land, so the giants had to go.
The giants had to go. The giants had to go just because of what I just said. They did not have.
I'm saying when you look at
God's creation, they weren't God's creation. That's simple.
When you look at what happened, when you look at the whole thing and what happened, that's like at the when Abraham got ready to sacrifice Isaac. How is he gonna kill Isaac when he got Jacob in his womb?
Well, let me let you know, if you want to jump that far, Abraham was being obedient. He believed in the resurrection at that time. He knew that the blessing would come through Isaac, but he was going to follow the directions of Yahweh the Father, because Yahweh said to sacrifice his son. At that time, even Abraham believed in the resurrection. So he was like, well, I guess I suppose God's going to go ahead and resurrect my son, but I'm going to be obedient and sacrifice my son. And that's when the angel said, no, don't do it. Don't do it. God sees that you're faithful now. That's the reason why he was going to sacrifice Isaac.
Okay. I
Okay,
yield.
now let me say this. Oh Lord, I forgot what I was going to say. My mind went somewhere else. But even when they ran them out of Canaan, they still didn't kill them all. They left them. Some of them still was left alive, and that was the downfall of the children of Israel, because they still left some of them alive, and they were being disobedient to the Most High. So we with you 100% on the giant story. We tell that, we believe that, we understand that, But as far as the land of Canaan is concerned, he was never supposed to be in that land in the first place. Yeah. But the fact that he did, and he populated it with those giants, because the Hittites and the Abites and all the other ites, all those people were descendants of the fallen angels, and they had that DNA in them that was illegal, and it wasn't supposed to be here. So we agree with you on that one. We do. We agree. Mm-hmm. Anybody else have any questions? Or comments? Mother Leonard, was you trying to say something else?
Well, I'll let you know that I yielded.
Oh, okay. Cool. Anybody? Sister Samaya, do you have somebody in the chat line?
No, not yet. We're listening here. We're good.
All right. So let's go into. Go ahead. What you say?
I said comments.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to Deuteronomy chapter 4, and what we're trying to do is lay the foundation to find out who rebelled, because even though you guys were absolutely right, something else happened there as over the course of time that brought about the third rebellion. So let's go into Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19. And the Most High, he says, "Lest thou lift up thy eyes unto heaven, when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars." Wait a minute. Hold on. And wait a minute. Let me go back. I'm sorry. And the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, should be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Most High thy Elohim had divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. Go back and read that again. "Lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven." Who is the host of heaven?
Angels.
The angels. Watch. Let's see. "Should be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Most High thy Elohim have divided unto all nations under the whole heaven." So he divided those beings up under all the nations under the whole heaven. He said, but whatever you do, don't worship them. He's talking to the children of Israel.
Yes.
What?
Really? Go on, you preaching now.
Woo, boy, I tell you. All right, here we go. Deuteronomy 17. We're going to Deuteronomy 17, chapter 1 to 11, verse 1. "Thou shalt not sacrifice unto the Most High thy Elohim any bullock or sheep wherein is blemished, or any evil favoredness, for that is an abomination unto the Most High thy Elohim." Watch.
Yeah.
"If there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Most High thy Elohim giveth thee, man or woman that have wrought wickedness in the sight of the Most High thy Elohim, in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods and worshipped them," watch what he says, "either the sun or moon or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which has committed that wicked thing unto thy gate, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. but at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people, so thou shalt put the evil away from among you. If there arises a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, and between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gate, then shalt thou arise and get thee up into the place which the Most High thy Elohim shall choose, and thou shalt come unto the priest, the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to the sentence which they of that place, which the Most High shall choose, shall show thee. And thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall show thee, to the right hand nor to the left. All right, any questions? So everybody agrees. Now I'm going to ask the question again. Where did the third rebellion come in at?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Where did the third rebellion come from?
Tower of Babel.
Who created the third rebellion? Who did it? Who rebelled?
Nimrod.
So?
The angels.
The angels rebelled. Somebody say thank you.
Yeah.
The angels rebelled.
The angels?
Yes, that's good.
The 70 angels that came down that was put among the nations rebelled.
Okay, yeah.
Ma'am, I thought it was 200.
They're wicked.
No, you hung up when we were teaching about the 70. That was the second rebellion. This is the third.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you hung up and didn't get a chance to hear that other part.
God.
But we did tape it, so you'll be able to hear it because we're going to put it on the internet.
Yes, ma'am. I'm new to this show, and I will be joining.
We know.
I know.
We know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We know.
That was the gods that rebelled. The 70
Yes,
gods.
ma'am.
The
gods rebelled.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. They certainly did. Now let's go to the scripture that tells us that the gods rebelled. Let's go to that scripture. I'm going to show it to you right now. Here we go. Psalm chapter 86. Here we go. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. That's what happens. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Say lie. Now, he talks to the gods now. Watch what he says. Defend the poor and fatherless and do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy and rid them out of the hands of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. He said the whole earth is out of course. Because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Watch. I have said ye are God, and all of you are the children of the Most High. That's what he said. He said, but you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O Yah, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. So he said, I put you in charge of them. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. I said you were God, and I've heard a lot of Israelites say that pertains to us. It did not pertain to us at that point. I believe at that point he's talking to those nations. Now, how do we know that those gods that were set over that nation was evil? Give me one book and a chapter that talks about the gods.
Daniel chapter 10.
Daniel. What? Say that again?
10 and verse 13.
10 and 13. Hold on, let me pull it up. Daniel. Here we go. Because he had said a prayer, right? Daniel chapter 10.
Right.
And what happened during the prayer, brother Leonard?
So 12, verse 12 say, then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I have come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me and remained there with me with the kings of Persia.
And then what did he say after that? He said, after I'm finished, I got to go back.
Yeah, now I've come to make thee understand that what befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. And when thou hast spoken such words unto me, I set my face. That's it.
And he said, we got to fight with the Prince of Grecia, right?
Right. Yeah, later on. He said he had to fight. But so what Daniel do is shine a light, an even greater light on it. So in the beginning, the Most High created 7 angels, right? He always have a remnant. These 70 angels are the remnant. He left a remnant from those angels before. He left a remnant. And so when Abraham, in chapter 18, Abraham was in the plains of Mamre. That's the angel that was over that remnant. It's a wicked angel. So it was wicked from the onset. And so the 7 angels is counsel over the 70.
Now let me say this, and this is just a little bit off the record, just a little bit. I was listening to a YouTube clip today about UFOs and different people from different countries that had experiences, and I sat up in the bed, Brother Leonard, because it was something you said that they said, and whoever these people were, they were actually they were supposed to be out into space in one of those space stations from Russia. And they said they saw this light, and this light blinded them, I guess through the window or whatever, wherever they was at up there floating around or whatever. And they saw this light, and it kind of blinded the room where they was in, because it just came and just whooshed. And the man said when they looked out the window, they saw 7 beings. He said it was 7 of them that was as big as a 747 plane.
Right.
And I was like, wow.
Right.
I said, wow. And, hey.
Right. So another thing about that is for a better understanding, they keep on saying God, but those are elves. Those are angels. And so how we know that? In the book of Enoch, he lists all of them names. And all of them have El on the end of their name. So they El. And El means strong one. So he's saying these elves. That's a big difference when you say God than when you say El. And so they continue to keep saying, the prophets keep saying, the strong one that's over Israel. Just like it's a strong one over Persia and it's a strong one that's over Greece, it's a strong one over Israel.
Yeah, but we was Yah's portion. Now, he may have angels to interact with us. I do agree with you on that one. I do agree with you on that.
But I mean, so to get a greater understanding, they have these angels, these beings, they have names, they El. That's why El is on the end of all of the names. They strong ones.
Yeah.
We Israel. Incredible.
Israel, yeah. Yeah.
So Jacob wrestled with an angel, and the angel changed his name to Israel.
Yes, he did. Israel. Yes, he did. Yeah. So, I mean, when you understand that there's a council, there's an order, there's a council of the gods, you understand how the Most High, his thing is detailed and in order. You have to understand there's an order to this. And when you get that, you'll understand how it flows perfectly, even with the other nations. Now, let's do this. And here are some of the names of the gods that the other nations have. I ain't even going to begin to try to do them, but they have their own gods according to where they're from. The Japanese have a god. And then you got Egypt, they have their own gods. Troy, Assyria has their own gods. The Sidonians have their own.
That's why they thinking that they got a chance against the Most High.
Well, can I please interrupt?
And we know we do. Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Well, no. It's just going on with all what you guys are all saying. Once again, when them watchers came down, they taught them technology. You know, they taught them technology,
right.
And like you said, their gods, whether it be Molech, Baal, Ra, and a lot of them gods are still here today. Shiva in Hinduism. You know what I mean? A lot of them gods are here today, but that's still the old Egyptian Greek mythology. And like the other sister said, they think that they're going to overpower God, and that was the reason of Nimrod building the Tower of Babel, because he was actually a descendant of Nimrod himself was a Nephilim. So Nimrod himself was a Nephilim. And when it says that he was a hunter, when people fail to realize he wasn't out hunting deers, he was out hunting people. In other words, to make an army to go against the Most High.
Go against the Most High, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what these Luciferians is doing today. And I don't want to say too much on air, but yeah, they think that they can battle against the Most High, and they're trying to fulfill Satan's 5 I wills. I will be like the Most High. I will put my throne above, up in the north. It's deep. Y'all getting deep. That's good stuff.
And you know what? The thing about it is I kept wondering, inheritance from who?
Right.
That's the point.
Oh, that's incredible.
It is. And it's real. And so, Sister Sanaya, what was you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, a guest asked in the chat, could you put the names of the gods and the countries that they're over on the website?
Yes, I will do that. But here it is again. I don't know how to pronounce that. How do you pronounce that? Amaterasu or somebody from Japan. Amun and Horus is from Egypt. Apollo for the people of Troy. Asura for the Assyrians. Asherah for the Sidonians. Athena, Makine for the Athenians and the whatever their names is. Macedonians. Baal is for Tyrans. Shemos is for the Moabites. Dagon is for Philistia. Don is for the Geese. I'm not even getting ready to try that for whoever it is. Quasiquoto for the Aztecs. Indra for the Indians. Izama for the Mayans. Merduk for the Babylons. They all had their own names. And Mars for Romans. Us for the Edomites. The sovereignty goddess for the Celts of Ireland. And then CINCINNATI for the Elamites. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Everybody had their own gods, and they worship their own gods. And like what Linda said, with the gods of the Book of Daniel in chapter 10, he said, we heard you when you first prayed. But I had to call for some reinforcements because I battled up against the Prince of Persia. He said, when we go back, we're going to have to battle with the Prince of Greece.
Right.
And that's what the Most High said. He said, because you were disobedient, I said you was a God. He said, but you're going to die like men.
Right. So it's another thing in that shed a lot of light on things, too, because people get the Nephilim and the fallen angels mixed up. Well, they get idols and the fallen angels mixed up. So what happens is these men was coming in contact with these fallen angels, then they went and made an idol of him. They made an image of him. So the image can't do nothing. The image can't do nothing. They made the image, and it's just standing there. They can't do nothing. But they made an image of the being because they saw some of the things he done. So when the Most High came down on Mount Sinai, he told Moses, I come to you in a thick cloud. So you can't make no image of me because you can't see me.
That's true. And that's when the Most High told him in the 1,000-year reign, he said, when you come, you're going to come in the name of your God.
Right. Exactly.
Because they're going to have to become subject unto you too. Unto him too. So that never changes. So, again, when we say these people say they died and they went to heaven and they went to the kingdom, no, they didn't go to ours. They didn't have that experience. They went somewhere, but it wasn't ours.
Right.
Powerful stuff. I mean, you understand this, and this is elementary, you know, but I remember one of the Hebrew Israelite leaders was like, I ain't finna mess with you because you messing with the gods now. You doing some stuff now that's going to change some of the stuff with the gods. And I'm like, no, I'm just doing what the Most High asked me to do. I don't know nothing about all of that. But, you know, when you're dealing with these people and they starting to make space forces and they going up into space and they talking about ruling the space and all that kind of stuff, those gods is the ones that's egging them on.
Right.
To tell them they can battle against the Most High. That's ridiculous.
Mankind has done it once before. They've done it. They've put bases up there on the moon as well as they've got them over there on Mars. Those things were destroyed. They found evidence they do not want to share with anybody because they're trying to go on and back engineer all of that technology. That's why they're able to do the things that they're doing now. That's why they're bragging about trying to go out there to fight the Most High.
Yep.
Yeah. They like you said, they're trying to fight the Most High. My personal belief is I don't believe in aliens. You know what I mean? That thing that those, like they're saying, when the angel had to come down to, when Gabriel had to come down and talk to Daniel, he had to come through that void that oh man, there's so much I want to say, but it's hard. That void is space, and basically angels are nothing but demons. And when we get our invasion, as the earth is talking about, and people want to accept aliens, like, oh, did they come in peace or did they come in that? Little do they know they're accepting demons. And when they try to make friends with these demons, they make war with the New World Order's army against the Most High. It's deep. It's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you have to rightly divide that because we know that a giant and a human, when they mix, that the Most High said in Genesis chapter 6, that spirit didn't come from him. So when the giant died, he said that spirit was going to remain on the earth and it's going to attack and tear and condemn man until the judgment comes. So those evil spirits are the spirits of those giants, but the fallen angels are the ones that the Most High bound. That's two different types of spirits.
So that's why he said it's going to be a day that has never been nor ever will be, because all of that's going to be unleashed on the earth, on top of the stuff that they're doing with the DNA, on top of the giants that's getting ready to be released from the inner earth, on top of all of the other stuff that's getting ready to start happening. It's all going to come, like Brother Donnie, I say, one big giant crescendo. And it's going to be a day that has never been nor ever will be. He said, but Jacob shall be saved out of it. And that's what we have to count on. You know, I mean, really. And then like we were saying this morning, I mean, earlier, it's bad, but it hasn't gotten anywhere near where it's going to get.
That's why we got to have faith in Yah, trust in His word, and do.
Did you guys ever see, I'm sure that you have, you understand, where the fires had burnt down all of these homes, and all you see is, in place of the house, you see the silhouette of the house, but you won't see nothing but ashes? That, just imagine. Can you imagine the destruction that's going to ensue?
Diana, I have a question in the chat.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
A guest wants to know, is there a dome over us? According
I've heard people say that.
18 and Ezekiel 1:26. Are they really going out into space or not?
Yes, they are really in space now. They are not going into space. They are in space right now. They have had that technology for years and years and years. They have had those those unidentified flying objects done crashed, and they've taken that technology under the earth, and they've perfected that technology, and yes, they are going into space. Yes, they are.
But
they're in there already.
Is there a dome over us? They can only get so far if there's a dome. Well, which is the if there's a dome over us as such, and I'm not sure. See, that goes along with that flat Earth stuff, which I
don't know nothing about no dome over us. I don't even mess with that because I don't believe that there is a dome over us. There may be a grid, a power grid of some sort, but not a dome. I don't believe there's a dome over us.
Well, what they're saying is the firmament is sort of like the dome, you know?
Oh, well, they don't even reach that far. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because when you look at the moon and the sun and all of those things, those are actually within our sphere. So they're not going up to where the waters separate the waters. That's why I said when the people of other nations talk about they died and the angel took them to heaven, no, they didn't go to our kingdom. They went to wherever their God was, and that is the area that they were allowed to see. So, no, I don't believe that. I mean, I don't believe it anyway. I mean, you know, because like I said, I believe that they have had technology and that they have been that's what the whole secret is. The being secretive was, you know, because when I went to England, they used to have a place called the Spy Corner, and they would sit outside the military base with binoculars, and they would be sitting for hours and hours, and I was like, what are they doing? And they, you know, they weren't allowed on the base. They were looking for certain things, and I'm like, well, what are they looking for? But now it makes sense because every nation, major nation, has had an experience with an unidentified flying object landing in their nation. And they all have taken this technology and tried to duplicate it. So that's what the race was, to see who could duplicate the fastest and whether they could get into space the fastest. It really didn't have anything to do with the things they told us because they've been trying to get out there and be the first one out there to dominate space. And now that they are able to do that, everybody's rushing to see who will dominate the space. That's why they're creating the whole Space Force, to be ready to fight against the Most High when he comes.
Right. There's a comment in the chat. A guest says the earth sits on pillars, 4 corners. Pillars are in Genesis.
Say that again now.
Guest said in the chat that the earth sits on pillars, 4 corners. That's the flat earth stuff. Pillars are in Genesis.
I've never seen that. Hold on a minute. Hold on 1 minute. Let me see, because I was trying to find stay out the bad. I was trying to find I don't know about that. I don't believe in the flat earth syndrome. The Bible said the earth is round. Everybody that's had the experience to be outside of it or to do whatever they do, I believe it's a globe and that it is round. I do not believe the earth is flat because it doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. How is the angels going to be inside of the earth if the earth is flat?
I believe it is round. I've gone from Hawaii to Saudi Arabia, and from Saudi Arabia coming back, going west towards the United States, reach the East Coast, then reach the west coast of the United States, back to Hawaii. Now, you do that in a straight line, that is a globe. That's a circle.
Okay. I agree with that.
It's round. It's not flat. And I've even gone out to sea, going towards the Far East, and came back, and the earth is round. I didn't fall off and float off into space.
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to add to that is that if the earth is flat, where's the equator?
Thank you.
The equator's going to be in the same place. Is what I saw is if you go north, you can't go but so far. Like the Antarctica. Anyway, there's they did some type of test and it did not make a full circle. So that way it's not round. Going north to it's east to west, west to east. It's round like that, but the other way it's not.
Yes, it is. It's still round. If you go northward from America, going across the Arctic ice, you're going to end up over in China. And you keep going on back down around, you're going to end up back down there towards the Southern Oceans, as well as coming across Antarctica, and then coming back towards America. It is round, all the way around.
Wait a minute. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22 says that it's a circle. It says, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretches out of heavens as a curtain and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in." So if the Most High sitting on the circle of the earth, it ain't flat.
And we need to remember, people have a craft of making things sound good depending on the propaganda they're trying to push.
I agree with that.
So it's always best to talk to people that's actually experienced things other than trying to suck in information from stuff we hear in the media or on radio or on TV or whatever.
Well, what shape is the moon and also the sun? What shape is the moon and the sun?
I heard if the earth was flat, the sunset times would be the same for everyone. And we don't all have the same sunset rise times.
Half the earth is dark, half the earth is light. So you know that the earth is a circle or a globe.
That's what the scriptures say. It says he sitteth upon the circle of the earth.
And it also says that the earth.
I've heard a Christian Hebrew pastor use that very same verse to prove that the earth is flat.
So how can it be?
Yeah.
How can it be?
The firmament is glass, and he sits and watches down from, this glass.
So how are you going to have angels? How are you going to have angels in the earth and it's flat?
Right. How can you have a core?
How are you going to have angels in the earth and the earth is flat?
That's something that's out there now. The flat earth.
Oh, I know. I'm just asking the question because some things just don't make sense. There's no way to have angels down in the bottomless pit. There's no way to have angels in the earth and the earth is flat. And like the sister said, some things when you go to the scriptures, you just have to accept the fact that it's a circle. Everything out there is a globe. The moon ain't flat. Now, the Most High didn't make the moon flat. He didn't make the sun flat. All of the other planets that are out there are in a circular form, and then he gonna all of a sudden make Earth flat.
Where did you find that scripture? That scripture that you read, where did you find that at?
Isaiah 40 and 22. So I just wanted, to share that with you. Let me end the class. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the class today. We are going to stop the recording. It doesn't mean that we stop the class. We just stop the recording. Please feel free to join us tomorrow on our radio show, Blog Talk Radio at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The phone number is 718-664-9551.